Welcome to the Stateless Standard, where our golden torch casts light on the unholy alliances between church, state, and the shadows of empire. In 2017, Netflix's The Keepers ripped open a wound in Baltimore's Catholic heart: the ritualized rape of dozens of schoolgirls by Father Anthony Joseph Maskell, a silver-tongued chaplain who pimped his victims to police and politicians while whispering prayers. The series, an Emmy-nominated descent into depravity, fingered Maskell in the 1969 unsolved murder of Sister Cathy Cesnik, a beloved nun who dared tutor his prey. But what if Maskell's monstrosity wasn't mere clerical vice, but a calibrated extension of the CIA's MKUltra, that taxpayer-funded fever dream of mind control, trauma, and eugenic erasure? Educational? We'll chronicle the chronology. Enlightening? If it doesn't profane your trust in institutions, cynicism is your sacrament. One might wryly observe, in the house of God, the devil's lab was just a confessional away. Let's genuflect at the altar of atrocity. To comprehend Maskell's malevolence, we must first excavate the eugenic earth from which it sprang. Early 20th century America, that beacon of progress, birthed a pseudoscience of selective slaughter. Eugenics, bankrolled by the robber barons, Rockefellers, Morgans, Carnegies, Harrimans, whose fortunes flowed from oil, steel, and shadow empires. By 1910, biased IQ tests branded 89% of Black Americans, 70% of Jews, and swaths of Catholics unfit for breeding. The result? Sterilization laws in 31 states, snipping 60,000 souls until the 1970s. A domestic holocaust, sanitized as science. Hollywood sanctified it. 1917's The Black Stork, a film celebrating the mercy killing of defective infants, drew crowds like a crusade. This American aberration inspired the Third Reich. Nazi architects toured U.S. asylums, aping our assembly line sterilizations. Post-1945, irony's irony. Operation Paperclip airlifted those same eugenicists, scientists like Joseph Maskell's ilk, to U.S. labs where they morphed into MKUltra's midwives. Launched in 1953 by CIA Director Allen Dulles, this 20-year odyssey, 149 sub-projects, $10 million budget, chased behavior modification via LSD, hypnosis, electroshock, and sensory torment. The Senate's 1977 reckoning revealed horrors: unwitting dosing of prisoners, soldiers, and civilians, all to forge Manchurian candidates, programmable pawns for espionage or erasure. Facilities shared with the Eugenics Records Office, courtesy of Rockefeller seed money. Funders included Carnegies, Fords, and the same oligarchs who preached free markets while chaining the gene pool. Cynics, peering through the smoke of shredded files, see the thread, control the body, conquer the mind, sterilize the unfit, script the faithful. Fast forward to 1960s Baltimore, where the church's cloak concealed a coven of calculated cruelty. Enter Father Anthony Joseph Maskell, born circa 1930, ordained in 1966, a hulking figure with a healer's smile and a predator's grip. Chaplain at Archbishop Keough High School for Girls and St. Clement Church, he preyed on the pious. At least 35 documented victims, schoolgirls aged 13 to 18, lured to his office with counseling that curdled into coercion. Rape was ritual. Guns to temples, badges flashed. His side gig as Fort Meade military chaplain and Baltimore police consultant granted him a cruiser and a radio. He trafficked them to cops, poles, even a NASA annex in Alabama, peddling flesh for favors in a blackmail bazaar that spanned the East Coast. Victim Gene Wayner recalls the calculus. He'd say, "This is God's will," while his hands did the devil's work. The Keepers, that 7-episode excavation by survivors Gemma Hoskins and Abby Schaub, unearths the epicenter. Sister Cathy Cesnik, a 26-year-old English teacher at Keough, vanished November 7, 1969, after shopping for an Advent wreath. Her body surfaced 2 months later in a remote wood, skull fractured, silenced, survivors whisper, for confiding in a victim. Days later, Joyce Malecki, 20, daughter of a Secret Service agent, vanishes from the same Gwynns Falls dump site. Her corpse found nude, strangled, steps from Maskell's Fort Meade parish. Coincidence? Or collateral? The series, Emmy-nominated and Emmy-haunted, sparked a national novena. 2017 Archdiocese admission of Maskell's abuses, $1.1 million to 27 survivors. Yet justice, a mirage. 1994's Wiener Lancaster suit accusing Maskell, Neil Magnus, priest accomplice, and Christian Ritter, trafficking gynecologist, dismissed on statutes of limitations. Enter Dr. Paul McHugh, Hopkins psychiatry don 1975 to 2001, who testified repressed memories were fantasy, despite DSM recognition since 1980. McHugh, MKUltra adjacent, his predecessor, John C. Whitehorn, fronted Subproject 87, Hopkins Labs pulsed with CIA cash. Maskell's methods? A MKUltra mirror per the Senate's 1977 dossier. LSD to shatter psyches, hypnosis to script submission, trauma to trigger dissociation. Victims in foul play. Hoskins podcast sequel, Spill the Serum. Donna von den Bosch dosed 30 days straight by Maskell and a friend, programmed with post-hypnotic suicide triggers. Her bones snapped under suppressed screams. Hypnosis halls. Numbers invoked to fracture minds, risking fugue state fury. One girl triggered might murder without memory. Dr. Colin A. Ross, sifting 15,000 plus MKUltra pages, confirms the cocktail. Engineered dissociative identity disorder for spies or snuff. Half the victims hypnotized. Most LSD-laced. Referrals to psychiatrist William Urban for tests. Echoes of Edgewood Arsenal's dosing dens. Maskell's Maryland Matrix? Fertile for federal foul play. Fort Meade chaplaincy, NSA's cradle, placed him amid signals intelligence. Baltimore police ties let him roam with impunity. His 1970s Johns Hopkins counseling cert, From a Nest of Nests, Subproject 87's lair, Whitehorn's legacy. McHugh's False Memory Syndrome Foundation dissolved post-discreditation, gaslit survivors, shielding the syndicate. Von den Bosch testified to the Senate in 2002. Weiner ID'd a Baltimore Politico and cop in her assaults. Richter? The trafficker who shipped her to Alabama's NASA annex, a MKUltra hotbed per survivor Lynn Shermer, daughter of a CIA man, where ritual rapes fueled blackmail reels. Parallels proliferate. Franklin's scandals, child rings, Epstein's elite entrapments, even Manson's MKUltra acid orgies. Whitney Webb's One Nation Under Blackmail tallies the toll. Priests as pimps, feds as fixers. The church, complicit confessor, 600 plus Maryland victims, 158 abusive priests over 8 decades per the AG's withheld 456-page tome, blocked by archdiocese-funded lawsuits as of 2022. Pennsylvania's grand jury, 300 priests, 1,000 kids, Massachusetts 800 souls scarred. Convictions? A confetti of crumbs. The keepers' keepers? A cabal of calculated cover. Maskell, exiled to a Connecticut psych ward in 1992, rebounds to an Irish parish. Psychologist now praying anew till his 2001 death, uncharged, unrepentant. The archdiocese pays hush, hides horrors, $1.1 million a pittance for Paradise Lost. The AG's report? Buried under legal legerdemain, echoing Pennsylvania's redacted redactions. Cynics, torchlit skeptics trace the theology. Eugenics as original sin. MKUltra its absolution. The church its cathedral of complicity. How many cassocks concealed spooks? Gilman School, eugenics founder's namesake, harbors its own Hopkins-tied horrors. Ross's verdict, Maskell's playbook was paperclip perfected, a priestly psyop peddling pain for power. Cesnik's ghost, a guardian gagged, her girls gaslit into graves of grief. One can't stifle the sacrilege. In God's green earth, the CIA's confessor was the devil's disciple, and the flock still feeds the machine. If the keeper's unkept truths have you questioning the collar's clasp, stoke that golden torch. Subscribe to the Stateless Standard for fortnightly forays into faith's foul underbelly. Comment, church or state, whose sins run deeper? Sources below. From Senate ledgers to survivor scrolls. Until next vigil, absolve nothing. The confessional's curtain conceals more than it cleanses. If the keeper's unkept truths have you questioning the collar's clasp, stoke that golden torch. Subscribe to the Stateless Standard for fortnightly forays into faith's foul underbelly. Comment, church or state, whose sins run deeper?